So if you'd like to also purchase these, we carry the air gap for your drain line, which is usually standard when you're connecting your drain line. We do have the drain line as well. We can sell you some of that. And then we have these great flex lines that we recommend using to hook up to the valve. They have a rubber gasket inside here, so you don't need to use thread tape on them. As you can see, that's what we're going to use here, plumbing up to the valve. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and install our media. So, very important on this, the D-tube, you don't want to get any media down inside the D-tube. This is where your clean water comes back up through your valve. If you were to get media down in here, you would probably get the contamination back up in your valve and clog your valve. So the other thing is you want to be careful not to pull this D-tube up after your media is all full in there. So we recommend just taking a piece of masking tape, make yourself a buddy tab there, and you can carefully put it over the top here, and that'll protect any media from going down the D-tube. So you get that all sealed off. Then go ahead, take your funnel, and you're going to put your funnel down in here. And depending on the tank size, we send the correct amount of media to you. So the first thing you're going to do is put gravel in the bottom. This particular tank has 40 pounds of gravel, so this is a smaller bag, but this is what the gravel looks like. Basically going to pour the gravel all down there that we send you. That's going to cover the bottom of that D-tube where the filter assembly is. And then you're going to go ahead and add your media. Now for this size tank you get 3 cubic feet of media. So we get 5 to 6 boxes depending on what you're using. Go ahead and use all the media we send you. That'll come to about 2/3 full. So now what you want to do is once your media is all in is go ahead and remove that funnel. And use one hand, hold that D-tube down and carefully lift your tape up with the other hand. Making sure you don't pull that D-tube up. Make sure it stays flush with the top of the cylinder. Okay, so once you've done this, go ahead, if you've got the carbon tank, you've already disinfected your tank before you started. But if you have the Pro-Ox or the ChemSorb media, go ahead and fill it up with water and add a cup of household bleach. That's going to disinfect your tank and activate the media. If you have the carbon and you've already disinfected your tank, go ahead and just fill it with water for the carbon. In either case, on both of them, let it set for at least an hour, up to 24 hours. Just to kind of sit and stabilize everything, disinfect everything. So now we're going to get our valve assembly ready to go. So the first thing we're going to do is we have these inlet and outlet fittings here. As you can see, they have an O-ring on them. And these clip in with these red snapping clips that go in here. Again, we have 1 inch, 1.25 inches, and we actually have the 1.5 inches installed. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these, but I will show you how to remove it. If you decide you want to change the valve. You have these little red clips here. And these heavier ones, you just need to push in a little bit with the screwdriver in that little indent. That little snap right there fits in. Once that pops out, these guys come right out. Okay, so there's your O-ring. So if you're changing these out, you want to make sure you lube that O-ring. This one's already been lubed, but take a little of the tube of the lube we give you and go ahead and lube that O-ring. Slide that guy all the way until it seats. And then this little red clip snaps in. So you can see here on the valve we have the inlet and the outlet. Okay, so for this valve, we're not using it as a softener. So we're going to take this piece here, again has an O-ring, we'll lube that. This is just a block off piece. We're going to go ahead and snap that into play, like so. Again, that little thing catches on the upper side there, so snap it in. You hear it? Okay. Okay, so this is our drain port here. Again on the drain port, so this is our drain line flow control. The orifice is set up. We set this up depending on which system you have for your flow. So this guy basically fits on the end of here. Again, you have an O-ring. This is just an adapter down to a barb fitting for our drain line. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull that little red tab out. Go ahead and snap this into place. And go ahead, again, this is what you push on with a screwdriver. Just push it back enough for it to pop. These heavier units are a little tougher, so hear that snap in, make sure that's good and tight. Okay. Now on the bottom of our valve, we have two O-rings. We have this O-ring that seats to the valve to the tank itself, and then we have one on the inside here that basically seals the D-tube. Again, take some of your lube. I've already lubed this one, but you want to take a little lube and put on there and make sure everything is good. Don't put any lube on the threads. You don't need any thread tape. You don't need anything on those threads. The O-rings do the sealing for you.